Trainz is a series of 3D train simulator computer games developed by Australian game developer N3V Games utilizing the Auran Jet game engine. In 2013, N3V Games announced that a whole new purpose-built multi-core game engine was being developed to bring the Trainz franchise onto modern hardware. Trainz was first released in 2001. The series has a large online community that creates and shares user-created content. New versions were generally released annually or biannually, including localized versions and across many platforms. Trainz Simulator 12 for Windows and Trainz Simulator 2 Mac were the last installments in the franchise based upon the older Jet technology. Trainz: A New Era is the first release based on the new reality game engine. Overview. The simulators are extensible, flexible and supported by a large library of over 250,000 freeware assets which can be downloaded from the N3V servers, referred to as Download Station. Trainz growth, and the DLS, are supported by the user community on the official web boards, as well as on various third-party websites. Users have the capabilities of creating new assets for the program that can be shared on the DLS as freeware to other registered users. The simulator itself encompasses several modules: surveyor, driver, and railyard, and in some versions, scenarios. Outside the main program there is a database manager for the installed library of content. Content error checker. A user-created content uploader. Download manager and content importer-exporter running as a Windows program called Content Manager. Surveyor Surveyor is the root editor and session editor. Here, the user can shape the landscape, paint with ground textures, lay tracks, and place buildings. Roads and highways can also be added. Driver the driver module, which can be launched independently, or from within Surveyor, takes a route created in Surveyor and allows the user to operate the trains either in free play, or according to a scenario called a driver session, which can range in difficulty from beginner to expert. User interfaces Main vehicle control modes. There are two default methods of manual control: DCC mode, which simulates the simple stop and go of a model railway, and cabin mode, which simulates real-world physics and working cab controls. Cab mode. In CAB mode the train physics are more sophisticated, such as the modeling of wheel slip on the rails. The weight of the consist slows acceleration and deceleration as it retains momentum, and inertial forces resist changes. As such, hills can become a struggle to climb or a problem to descend safely. DCC mode. In contrast to cab mode, DCC is a simpler physics model. Stopping and starting the movement of trains is far easier under this mode. It emulates the operation of a real-world DCC control knob that one might use on a physical model railroad, and is easy to understand in terms of operation. AI drivers concurrent with a human driver, the trains can be given instructions and driven by the computer, or one can aid the human driver when a session assigns an AI helper, who can program this aid on the fly in the middle of the simulation. Railyard Railyard is a virtual engine shed where the user can view locomotives and rolling stock, use some functions of the locomotives, and view the train's descriptions. Scenarios Scenarios are pre-scripted activities in which the user plays through a specific set of challenges, such as transporting passengers to their destinations on schedule, or switching rail cars in a rail yard without damaging the cargo. Scenarios are supported by scripting language called Trainz Script. While expanded and included with TRS 2004, the scenario in Trainz Script was supplanted by the creation of internal sessions programming, which can duplicate the Trainz Script in its entirety. As of Trainz 2012, scenarios are not in the game anymore. Paint Shed Paint Shed is a simple program for recoloring Trainz locomotives and other rolling stock. Paint Shed was included with Ultimate Trainz Collection, Trainz 2004 Deluxe and Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006, and was available as a separate program for adding on to Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004 and Trainz 1X. The program was removed starting with Trainz Simulator 2009, but locomotives and rolling stock painted in Paint Shed can still be used, as many built-in locomotives and cars were made in Paint Shed. Content Manager Content Manager or CM is a Windows program that allows management of the in-game database files. DRM Trainz began incorporating DRM with the introduction of Service Pack 1 to Trainz 12, released on April 10, 2013. The new DRM system requires periodic check-in with N3V's activation servers, but only applies to DLC at present. N3V's DRM system operates independently of and in addition to DRM systems imposed by various third-party sellers of Trainz. Trainz versions Trainz Trainz Community Edition Trainz Community Edition was released in December 2001. Service Packs 1, 2 and 3 were each released in 2002, these progressively updated the Community Edition, Trainz 1.0 to versions 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 successively. 2 retail builds existed. The English USA version is commonly known as Trainz 1.0. Trainz Retail Edition Trainz Retail Edition was released in June 2002 aimed at the United States and other North American markets. Service Pack 3 was released in November 2002, this updated both the Community and Retail editions to version 1.3. Thus all USA versions are commonly known as Trainz 1.3. Ultimate Trainz Collection The Ultimate Trainz Collection, or UTC, was released on November 26, 2002 in North America as a 3-CD set including extra rolling stock, and a CD-ROM with Trainz script TM-based scenarios and route map content based on Trainz 1.3 tech. This was the first edition to include the formerly separately Retail Paint Shed program and support Rail Driver, as well as the first incorporating Trainz user-developed freeware content as part of the release, some of which became Trainz staple content in TRS 2004 AL through current releases. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004 Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004, or TRS 2004, was released in September 2003. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004 incorporated a load of technical changes and these required many bug fixes that were released as the 4 service packs released through 2004 and 2005. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004 was the first version of Trainz to include interactive industries and loadable rolling stock capabilities, which allowed the player to deliver various resources and passengers to various industries and stations across the playable area. It has an iconic status in the Trainz community as once the bugs were worked out of it, its feature improvements have been the look, see and feel of all the Trainz releases since regardless of how things are reskinned. There were many industries included and much of the bundled rolling stock was updated to include this new dynamic loading and unloading animated capability with a corresponding load state dynamic driving physics change in the handling of a consist. It also was the first rail simulator to include Thomas the Tank Engine and friends and to emulate wooden toy train snap-together modeled content all of which was later available in Trainz 2006 and up. These toy-like animated 3D models eventually lead to my first Trainz with its simple child-friendly simulator game interface. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2004 Deluxe was a later 4-CD-ROM follow-on with the first 2 service packs pre-installed. It also included Paint Shed, and a bonus content CD. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006 Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006, or TRS 2006, was in transitional release, incorporating the stable Auran Jet-based TRS 2004 GUI modules with only some graphics improvements, but introducing the Database Manager Content Manager Plus as a new core technology. Content Manager EGS combines database management, and secure FTP upload and download facilities and special user-definable filters all in one integrated system. By defining a good filter, the user could selectively not see the clutter of regional items in the Surveyor Asset Selection menus, saving user time and world building. This important filtering feature was further improved in Trainz 2009, becoming far more powerful and easier to use. TRS 2006 was published in September 2005, and the base release with its single service pack formed the core of the regional releases over the next 4 years until the introduction of new technologies in TC3 and TRS 2009. In Germany, it was published by Bluesky Interactive, as Pro Train Perfect. Trainz Driver in the USA, is a version of Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006 lacking the Content Manager and Surveyor GUI world-building module, having only the driver and railyard modules. The package includes 3 large routes with 21 driver sessions, all set in North America. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2007. Trainz Railroad Simulator 2007 was the second release targeting a regional market distributed by a Newman Interactive for sale in France, Belgium and Switzerland. There were initially 2 versions, the standard version which consisted of Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006 with Service Pack 1 applied, and the Gold Edition, which included French regional add-on items. Helicon Media later distributed Trainz Railroad Simulator 2007 with German region-specific content for the British, Austrian, and Swiss market. Trainz Classics, also abbreviated as TC, is a series of 3 standalone Trainz Railroad Simulator 2006 joint venture customizations put together by Auran and different professional providers of third-party content. Unlike typical Trainz releases which feature around-the-world sampling of content typical to different regions of the planet, the Trainz Classics versions feature a large railroad layout with plenty of special professionally written sessions exploiting the featured railroad. Trainz Classics 3 renewed evolution of the Trainz base technologies incorporating various changes to the older stable 4-year-old data models resulting in the publication of a new PDF file TC3 Content Creators Guide. TC1 focuses on the Metro-North Railroad's Harlem line in the 2000s, TC2 focuses on a freelance city called Modular City, featuring European trams running in the city and to an island. TC3 focuses on the famed Seattle-Carlisle line from Skipton to Carlisle in the late 1950s-early 1960s. The content from Trainz Classics 1 and 2 were later released as built content for TS 2009 and TS 2010. Trainz Classics 3 was re-released as an expansion pack for TS 2009, TS 2010, and TS 12. Trainz The Complete Collection, released June 13, 2008. This is a large compilation, containing 3 DVDs, Ultimate Trainz Collection, TRS 2004, TRS 2006, Trainz Roots, and Trainz Paint Shed. Trainz Simulator 2009 Trainz Simulator 2009, World Builder Edition, or TS 2009, was released for digital download on November 27, 2008, and the first boxed copy orders were shipped in mid-December 2008. Despite its name, the World Builder Edition is the full version, and the first to be evolved by the new team of programmers hired after Auran's post-bankruptcy reorganization and the Trainz franchise became the property of N3V Games. The subtitle refers to the many improvements in the World Builder software, the Surveyor module. The version also made certain changes to the simulator's data structures to enable better graphics capabilities, the first to use multi-core microprocessor technologies and to take advantage of graphics card advances such as built-in graphics processors. It doubled the amount of video RAM and RAM memory the game could utilize. The follow-on edition, Trainz Simulator 2009, Engineers Edition, was scheduled for release by the end of April 2009, but was cancelled because the many updates to the newer data model created unanticipated problems for the new release that required 4 service pack releases to stabilize fully. The Engineers Edition was to have focused on driving and operating improvements, incorporating new graphics features such as speed tree technology, as well as further new content. Subsequently, the name and many features were applied to Trainz Simulator 2010, Engineers Edition. Trainz Simulator 2010, Engineers Edition Trainz Simulator 2010, Engineers Edition, or TS 2010, was released on November 23, 2009 as a digital download and a retail boxed version solely via the Auran online store. Regular retail releases became available for the various regions throughout 2010. The primary additions to this version are the use of the speed tree system, additional graphical improvements for built-in content, and performance improvements for both custom and built-in content. The version also introduced what N3V calls native mode, which utilizes the 64-bit microprocessor computer architecture of newer computers but also retained compatibility mode enabling backward-compatible root and session development at TS 2009 and some TRS 2006 versions, if desired, because of more stringent code enforcement that makes older content unusable. Compatibility mode was abandoned in TS12, much to the chagrin of many users. The moniker Engineers Edition doesn't mean advances focused solely on the train driving experience, for the Surveyor module is still included, and there are a variety of new capabilities to entice Trainz root developers, including the introduction of layers and menuing. The version does include the most new routes and sessions in any retail release since the Trainz Complete Collection. Specifications were announced November 13, 2009. The game was released in the United States as Trainz Railroader 2010, Engineers Edition, published by N3V Games. Trainz Simulator, iPad, Android to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Trainz, N3V Games released a Trainz app for the iPad on December 4, 2010. Users can take advantage of the iPad's functions and lay tracks, drive trains and complete tasks with the touch of their fingers. Users have access to Driver and Surveyor and can create routes and drive trains with the help of tutorials. An Android version of the game was released on July 22, 2011 and has the same features as the iPad version. The app is a port of Trainz Simulator 2010. Trainz Simulator 12 Trainz Simulator 12, or TS12, was released on April 12, 2011. Among other upgrades, this product offers a variety of new routes, Doppler effect support, satellite view, and a multiplayer feature for the first time. A Trainz 10th anniversary box set was announced which includes the game and other extras. The game was initially released for pre-order on March 18, 2011 as part of the limited edition Trainz 10th Anniversary Collector's Edition. A certain amount of content from previous versions was removed from this release, making it the first release since Trainz 1.0 to feature all and only new routes and related assets. Like most Trainz releases, the package contains only content vetted for the new technology, which in TS12 needed to be updated for compatibility with 64-bit computers. However, much of the content from the previous versions was released on the download station in an updated form as of the end of 2012 under an initiative known as the Download Station Cleanup. My first Trainz set My first Trainz set was designed for the younger generation who do not want to worry about realism or management when playing the Trainz game. The game features 4 locations to lay track in that are based on rooms throughout a house, such as a bedroom or kitchen. The user has the ability to place down small toy-like objects in the replacement of buildings and scenery. However, its graphical quality of the trains, track, and objects is still very much like that of the standard Trainz simulator games. Controls are also far more simplified. The game was also ported to Android devices. Trainz Simulator, Mac Trainz Simulator, Mac was a port of Trainz Simulator, 2010 for Macintosh. Trainz Driver, iPhone Trainz Driver leveraged the work done porting Trainz Simulator onto iPad and brought the driving aspect of the Trainz franchise to mobile phones for the first time. Trainz Simulator 2 Mac Trainz Simulator 2 Mac was released on March 27, 2014 via the Mac App Store, which amongst other things, introduced an online multiplayer feature. It is a port of Trainz 12. Trainz Simulator 2 for iPad Trainz Simulator 2 introduced a new user interface designed specifically for tablets and brought greater draw distances, better graphics and new content to the platform. Trainz Driver 2, iPhone Trainz Driver 2 leveraged the iPad updates and introduced the powerful route editing tools to the phone. Trainz, a new era Trainz, a new era is, as noted in the new naming convention, a new beginning for the Trainz franchise. In November 2013, a Kickstarter campaign for the game was launched to help fund the game and the new purpose-built game engine. The campaign reached its target funding level a month later. Contributors were awarded prizes ranging from desktop wallpapers, first-class tickets for the download station, full copies of the game, and various additional content depending on the amount pledged. The game utilizes a new custom-designed engine, which features more realistic graphics, physics, and various other new features and improvements. The game has been released on May 15, 2015. Special hardware support. The desktop cab controller rail driver was first supported for use in Service Pack 1 for the Ultimate Trainz collection, and is also supported by all subsequent Trainz releases. References. External links: Trainz Simulator official website, Auran official website, official third-party content providers.